Hello, friend. I'm Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know how you're doing. Um, Yesterday, obviously I didn't work on these yesterday. I meant to, but I got other things were more important. Um, Yesterday I was talking to a friend who is going through some stuff. Be the only way I can describe it. And they made a comment that was they're having a very hard time caring about work. Which was, we continued the conversation, and because I was kind of confused, like, this is going to sound bad, and especially if my employer's watching this, but I've never cared about work. Like, work is something that I have to do to maintain my current standard of living. It's not something that I'm, like, impassioned to do. It never has been. I don't think that's technically true. Obviously, there are moments when I get excited about something, and there are, like today, for instance. Today, we are working on overhauling our website, and there was some stuff that I had set up on the old site that needed moved, and I had to relearn and actually kind of redo some of it because it doesn't work with current framework technology. So I got really into that, and that was fun. It was a fun little, like, oh crap, I've got to hurry up and get this fixed. And often when I quote care about work, it's in those moments when it's like I get to be the hero for the day. I have to do a thing real quick because we're pushing something out and it has to get done. That goes not just for this job, everything I've ever done. I've had a long time to think about how I work and why I work better under pressure, and whether my procrastination is a result of me feeling like I work better under pressure, and so I put things off because I know I'm going to be able to do it at the end. It's possible. I don't know. Still, I've honestly been having that conversation with myself for like 10 years now. 8 years, whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is, I was just kind of shocked when this person told me that they were having a hard time caring about work, it wasn't necessarily caring about work, but it was like being motivated by work. Like, I've never been motivated to do work of any job I've ever had. It's been, and that I think is the truth. I can get excited about a particular task of my job, and I do that task, and I'm excited to get it done. But that's very different to me from being motivated to do my job. I've never been intrinsically motivated to do my job. There's nothing when I wake up in the morning where I go, man, I'm really excited to do my work today. It's never happened, even on things that I enjoy doing. For instance, many of you know, I moonlight for a board game publisher. That's like the dream job. I'm not motivated to do that job. I'm not waking up like excited to do that job. It's a job. I don't want to do it. Like, ultimately, I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything other than just tinker and do stuff that I want to do. If it was up to me, I would read books, I would build stuff, I'd play bass guitar and just hang out all day. Like, there's nothing that I would do that's productive in society, right? But I do it because it's important to me, whether it's my day job or my night job, or my moonlight job, whatever. Those things are important to me, and so I have to consciously make an effort to do them. And it's always been that way, my whole life. And I was shocked to hear that they had actually been working as part of who they are, and so they want to do their work and they want to be good at their work, and they've been finding themselves slipping and not being. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting, because I just assumed nobody wanted to do work. Everybody just powered through it like I do. And I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. That's why I'm here. Like, you tell me. For me, my entire adult life, including my time in the Marine Corps, which is, when you join the Marine Corps, that's a That's a choice, right? Like that's a, you know, I knew I'm giving up 4 years of personal freedom for this job. Um, where was I going with that? Oh, my entire adult life, including that time in the Marine Corps, uh, I had to consciously choose to do what needs done. I had to push myself to do it. It, it was never, I've never identified, that's where I was headed with that. Okay. I've never, work has never been my identity, even as a Marine. Like, I was never like, I'm a Marine, so this is what I do because this is what Marines do. Not me. Any job I've ever had, I've never been that way. I've never been like, work is not part of my identity. It's a thing that I do to survive. It's just like eating. I think of work and eating as the same. They're not things I enjoy doing. They're just things I have to do to survive. I have to do to maintain my current standard of living. I have to, whatever. They're just have to do's. And if you're going to do it to a decent ability, right? Put forth the effort. And so I do. I put forth the effort because that's discipline. That's just what it takes to make it, right? But I guess I just never, I never thought that there are people where work is their identity. Like that's what they're like, I'm so good at working, I'm going to work. And I guess that like, the what's the parable? No, it's not a parable. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. There's, the phrase of like, find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life or whatever. I guess there is some merit to that. If, for instance, my friends who are musicians, I'm sure absolutely love being musicians. And so, sure, for them, that's not work. But that's like, you think about it, that playing guitar on a stage for an hour, that's like 5% of that job. Because from the outside looking in, we all go, oh, that's a person on a stage playing music for a living. Yeah, they're actually running a business for a living. They're actually doing hours and hours of work every day, sending emails, organizing meetings, doing product, whatever. Like there's 1,000 things other than playing music that comes with that job. And I guarantee you that none of my musician friends want to do any of that nonsense. But it's part of the job. You have to do it. So I enjoy the moments in my job when I get to do something creative and intellectual and I dig in and I save the day. Those are awesome moments for me. But the fact of the matter is that's a very small fraction of my work. For most of my time at work, it's the most boring drivel ever. And no, I've never been motivated to do it. I force myself to do it because that's what it takes. I guess what I'm getting at is like I'm curious to know if if I I think the reason that this struck me is because I've always identified the people who or I've always thought that the people who identify as loving to work or as their like they identify as their job. I always thought those were like snooty, snobbish, just like the people you don't want to spend time with because all they talk about is job. This person is not that person. This person is a very cool, calm, down to earth person who I very much enjoy spending time with. But apparently, work was a big part of their identity. And I didn't know that. I just thought that like me, work was just something they had to do to get by. That's why it was so confusing to me. Thoughts on that? I guess that having those moments, if you go back to music for example, having those moments on stage playing music for a living is the reward for doing all the other nonsense. For me, fixing this website today is the reward for doing all the nonsense I've had to do for the last week. Right? It's like a little cool, like awesome, I get to dig in and figure some stuff out and make it better or whatever. Is there a difference between being disciplined to do something versus being intrinsically motivated? If the outcome is the same, does it matter how you get there? I think to some employers it does. I think some employers would not want to hear that their employees are not motivated because they view that as they're not doing the best of their ability. I feel that's wrong. I'm doing great work, but I'm not intrinsically motivated. I'm just disciplined. Did any of this make sense? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We are learning 12 stressful things to stop tolerating. You should, number 2, stop tolerating your own negative thinking. Your mind is your sacred space. You can close the windows and block the view, or you can open the windows and let light in. It's your choice. The sun is always shining on some part of your life. What do you typically focus on? Sometimes the only thing you need to shift in order to experience more happiness, more love, and more success is your way of thinking. I mean, sure, that's a really nice way of saying learn cognitive behavioral therapy and adjust the way you think. I very much stand by it. There's a book that you can read called, I think it's the ACT method or something like that. Whatever. CBT or any sort of cognitive bias training is insanely valuable, but it's not as simple as just choosing to think about it. It is months of intensive therapy, but absolutely do it.